Well, hello. Welcome to another video of mine and another review as well. Today we're going to be looking at something I'm moderately excited about, which is the newest volume of Untapped. This is the 13th one on Odio Records. I don't know much of Odio Records releases. I know most of the artists that release on there, but I don't listen to much of Odio in general. I think the only release that I've listened to Odio is fully is issue 5. Yeah, the issue 5 compilation. And that was very solid. And I know a lot of people say that Odio Records are very, very good. And I've heard stuff like Monkey Flip and a bit of the stuff from Basic on this label, but that's pretty much my extent of knowledge about this label. There's 4 artists. I think there's 4 songs every time, but they're all solos. And the track list on SoundCloud I think is wrong, because the second track and the third track are flipped on SoundCloud than they are on everything else. So I'm going to go off of everything else, like Spotify and Beatport and stuff like that. So there's only really 2 names I know on here, which are Guillotine and JoeB. And Guillotine is extremely hit or miss for me, but JoeB is really, really solid. So I'm kind of excited, and I'm excited to see what INAMOR and KEROSENE do. So I think we should just get right into it with the first song, titled Floot Song by Guillotine. I hope this can be good. Really synthy intro. I like the background elements. You can already hear the sound design. Kind of standard rhythm. Percussion's really good though. I gotta give it up for that. Ooh, that sustain is good. That's well produced. I enjoyed that. The first half of the drop is kind of just a staple rhythm. It's got a few good patterns, but it kind of just reuses the same thing throughout. And then for a few bars, it has a really kind of a rising, screechy sustain bass. And then in the second half of the drop, it has really, really nice and beefy sustain basses, and those are good. And that's my favorite part of the drop. But overall, it's decent. I really want change up. It's more or less the same. Okay, that song was decent. I do enjoy it, and I wouldn't hate if anyone put this on in a playlist. But I think this is kind of just standard in terms of rhythm. Yeah, I don't really like Guillotine's music that much. I just think he reuses a lot of patterns and sound design. His percussion's good though. I gotta give him that. And the intro is pretty good. It's an actual intro for rhythm, which you don't get much, instead of just percussion and the drop sounds being faded out. But I really enjoy the energy he builds up in that intro and kind of off-drop sections. Those are really nice. The highlight for me would have to be the second half of Boat Drops, where that really gritty sustain bass gets put in, and it kind of just props up the track in a bit of a way where it didn't have the, just the complexity. It didn't really have as much sounds as I kind of wanted. It just kind of uses the same metallic synths over and over. So, decent. Okay, next one is from INAMOR. I hope I'm saying that right. And it's called ELEGIAC. I like how it faded in. I like that snare thing. It's weird. Ooh. kind of a trap or hybrid trap, I'm not sure. It sounds trappy though. I like the squelchy sound design. I think the snare in this drop needs to be a bit beefier. It needs to come through a bit more. But that's cool. The faded out sort of whale sounds. And that one was really nice. I like the whole squelchy trap going on. It's really nice. Reading the next drop. That's a cool fake out. Ooh. Kind of like Jersey Club. Okay. That was kind of like a huge giant fake out with the build up and another build up with the faded out sounds and the kicks. So it's a really long fake out, and I like it. I really like all the reverb he puts on those sounds. Makes him feeling distant from the mix. Okay, that one was a lot better than the first song, I'd say. It may not be as well produced, but it's definitely got some really nice squelchy little trap stuff going on. I really like the reverb in this song. I think it's really well done. How he kind of builds tension and takes away energy, or just kind of turns the track on its side a bit. Because with those reverb notes, it gives a bit of a darker and more anxious feel to it, and I like that. It's definitely dark electronic music. Dark electronic music. You know, I'm Connor Whitmore. I love you, Naughty. On to the next one, which is the one I'm probably most excited for. JoeB with Petrol for Breakfast. JoeB has been killing last year, and with just every song he's released, it's so insane. Rocket Party is still incredible, and it will never not be. So hopefully this is good, and I think it will. I know it will. 4-minute 44 as well, so we're in for a long one. The percussion. I like the trap. Oh, this is a really cool build-up. Oh. Ooh. Staple JoeB sound design. It's kind of like falling over itself. It's very staccato in its delivery. And these guns are nice. Muffle fake out. Ooh, the basses are a bit low in volume though compared to the drums. Like you can hear all the drums really well. They got good sidechain on them, and you can just hear them really well in the mix. And they're very snappy, and they're well cut. But I think the basses are just a bit quiet and not as well mixed. All of his tracks are so sporadic. They're very well composed. Like those pinprick notes feel better mixed than the main, like, basses. I love that. Nice little outro to bring it out. Build off the energy. Pretty good. Okay, I think that's probably my favorite. Well, I don't know. I think it's great. It's pretty good for JoeB standards. It's pretty basic, but I mean, I think it's a bit below of what he usually does, because he usually has these very overwhelming and pinprick machine gun drops. So it's refreshing to hear more like pinprick and more drawn out basses from him. But I think those drawn out basses could be a bit louder in the mix, like I said during the track. And percussion is great throughout the whole thing. You can hear it all the time. It's really well cut, super sharp, but I just think has a bit of a mixing issue in terms of the basses. Getting into the last track of the comp EP, They call it an EP, so I'll just call it an EP. Last track of the EP, Kerosene, I hope I'm saying that right, with LACONIC. The waveform is weird as hell. This either could be my least favorite track or my favorite. I don't think there's going to be an in-between. I like the piano so far. Ooh, really atmospheric. That's well done. Ooh, super drawn out basses. Really atmospheric build up. Ooh. Kind of reminds me of Our Crux. It's kind of start-stop, but in a flowy manner. It's kind of hard to explain. The percussion on all these tracks is really, really nice. Yeah, that drop had a very start-stop motion while also being really flowy at the same time, because it took out some of the percussion while those kind of pinprick machine guns were going, and it created a weird flow. And I really like it, actually. The sound design, if it was put in like a staple 4/4 kind of boom, doom, ba kind of pattern, I don't think I would enjoy it as much as I do now. So the beat pattern kind of carries it, along with this atmospheric intro. I think it's the same drop. Alright, that track was pretty good. I think the intro, well, I think the off-drop sections in this song kind of carry it a bit, but to a certain extent. I really like the piano. I love the kind of booming sub-bass really far below the mix to kind of give atmosphere, and it builds up the track really nicely. That build-up is kind of a riser, a really slow moving riser, and then some kicks are brought in at like the very back end of the build-up. And getting into that drop, it's I stated before that I think the beat pattern is really nice because it takes out the kicks and snares. I think it takes out the kicks more than the snares. It takes out the kicks sometimes, and it kind of gives you that suspended in the air kind of feel, and it's really enjoyable. It's got a really unique beat pattern, and I think that's the best thing going for this track, along with the piano stuff. And I think it kind of drags a bit as the song goes on, because it's 4 minutes 19, so, and the second drop is the same as the first, so it does drag a bit. But overall, this EP compilation, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, this EP, Untapped, Volume 13, is decent, I'd say. I'd definitely say that Floot Song and LACONIC don't really hold a candle to the other two, Petrol for Breakfast and ELEGIAC. I think that I said Petrol for Breakfast is my favorite before, but I think ELEGIAC just edges it out a bit. So, Floot Song I didn't like much. I thought it was kind of basic, and LACONIC just kind of got boring after a while. And ELEGIAC, I don't have any complaints for. And Petrol for Breakfast suffered a bit of mixing issues. So overall, I think this is decent, but it's not great. Should I give it a 6.5 or a 7? I'm going to give it a 6.5. They could have done a lot better, but I think for what it is, it's enjoyable. It's very enjoyable. But when you pull the composition and production quality into question, it kind of falls apart, at least for me. I'm definitely going to be reviewing more Odio releases in the future, and I'm definitely going to be reviewing the Mosque EP that comes out tomorrow. As time I'm recording this, I'm recording this on Monday, the 11th, so it'll come out tomorrow on the 12th, and I'm extremely excited for that one. That's probably going to be one of the most hyped releases I've probably seen in my life, because I love Mosque. But yeah, 6.5 for Untapped, Volume 13, and I should definitely go listen to the other volumes. But that's it for me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you probably tomorrow. Goodbye.